The following video is not brought to you by the British Heart Foundation. However, it does include an appeal for their cause, so stay tuned to find out. The Rush to Rome. Ever heard of it? 8 months ago, neither had I. But what is it? Well, it's a 2100 mile journey going from Edinburgh all the way to Rome via indirectly parts of France, and that's about it. Just sounds like a normal European holiday, except there's a catch. The cars must cost no more than £1,000. That's the car, any fixes. Yeah, that sounds like quite a good idea actually. So we went online and we booked our place, paid the deposit, and only then realised we don't have a car that complies with the regulations. It's time to go shopping. To be honest, we knew going into it sort of what we wanted anyway. It was going to be a Volvo. It was always going to be a Volvo. So we plugged everything that we wanted into Auto Trader, and fairly quickly the only option was a P2 V70. So now that we knew what sort of car to expect, now we had to try and find one for the £1,000 budget. And as you could expect, it was kind of rough. They very consistently shown signs of fatigue, rust, holes. Some were even just barely clinging on to life. Some were nowhere near barely clinging on to life. It was looking like we were at a dead end. But then, from the depths of the internet, and not on the website before they updated it, we found a single Facebook post.
Oh yes!
I mean, this was perfect. The P2 V70 was first built in 2003. That means if we get one of the older models, then we will qualify for the 20 years over rule. It's perfect. This means the budget can now be something more reasonable, £4,000 say. With that we could get something that's got less miles on it, it can have less rust, it might not require as much work. Hell, it could even pass an MOT. As long as we don't go too mad. This is our V70R. Perspective just how mad the V70R is. Both it and its sedan sister, the S60R, are fitted with this. It's the V5254 T4, a variation of their white block 5-cylinder. This particular unit pumps out 300 horsepower and 400 newton meters of torque, which at the time made it the most powerful Volvo built ever. For 2 years, until they then slapped a whopping great big V8 into their XC90 and then the S80. But it's still the most powerful 5-cylinder that they ever built, and it continues to be today. They have not built one that produces more than that since, and because they don't build 5-cylinders anymore, they never will.
You can also get them with the very desirable M66 manual gearbox, which this one has. And combined, you can sort of tell how ridiculous this car is. We've gone well beyond budget here. In fact, considering how old it is, 20 years, so we're only just within the limits, it's actually really well lavishly equipped. It's got cruise control, a phone module that you actually need to insert your own SIM into, which I haven't, because who the hell pays for 2 SIMs these days? It's got climate control, 2-zone, heated seats, which is lovely now in winter. Well, it's actually near a spring now because I've been procrastinating for so long, but it was useful during winter. Not so much in the 30-odd degree heats of Italy, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Air conditioning, that'll come in handy, and then a 6 CD changer. It's also got Volvo's 4C, its adaptive chassis. Continuously controlled chassis concept. It's got Volvo's continuously controlled chassis concept. I mean, there's all sorts of other stuff. The seats, this one's electric, that one isn't. But they're very nice and comfortable, again, considering it's 20 years old. But the coolest feature by far, the sat-nav pops out the dash. I mean, it's horrendously outdated. But that's just a cool feature in and of itself. I love that. But it is horrendously outdated. Half the roads don't exist, and it takes forever to calculate routes. But it's cool.
And then because it's a V70, we get this massive boot to put absolutely anything into it that we need. Plus,
the seats fold flat,
which means
I have a bed, and that means I don't even have to take
a tent, which will save on a bit of space.
Not that we're going to be running out anyway.
Unfortunately, there are a couple of little problems that do need fixing on it. That fog light has a dangling wire. It was dangling, presumably all the way from Oxford, where we bought it, and we didn't realise. The fog light does still seem to work, but it's not nice having a dangling wire, so that's just zip tied for the time being. There's a dent in the driver's door, which you can't see until you do see it, and then you can't unsee it. The headlight wipers, neither of them work. The handbrake is too stiff, and it doesn't actually really hold the car. The brake pedal is long from where the discs were skimmed by the previous owner after it had sat for a year. The interior fans squeak nearly constantly. Half the interior trim rattles around horrendously. Half the interior lights don't actually work. The rear wheels are damaged. The front wheels, the tyres rub on the wheel arches on full lock, which is apparently a reoccurring problem, but it's just a horrendous noise. And then there's various paint chips and scratches in the bodywork. Not to mention that we've already had to repaint the rear bumper because someone scratched it in a car park. We've had to repaint the roof gutters underneath the roof racks because there wasn't any paint on it at all. We had to get the locking nuts banged out because some muppet had over-tightened them with an air gun, presumably, and that's how the wheels got damaged. The washer pump, that needed replacement because that failed before we'd even left Oxford. The clutch needed replacing, apparently, and then during the replacement of the clutch we found that the flywheel had wear marks. So that got replaced as well, and then just for good measure the 6 CD changer decided to smooth one of its gears off and stop working, so that needed changing as well. And then, to top it all off, that lovely M66 manual might not even be a factory option. This here document lists most of the maintenance services somewhere between 2004 and 2012. And looking here, there is one that is labelled automatic transmission.
There's no changing. Must be changed if you stroke it.
And then next to it, on several occasions, are little cross marks, which means it must have had an automatic gearbox. So that means it's been swapped. And that normally wouldn't be a problem, but if you look on any website that lists any of the torque maps, you will notice that it's short. The V70R with an automatic gearbox is short of 30 Newton meters. You see, when Volvo installed the ASEAN AW55-51 into the V70R, they also installed a new engine map, one that reduced the torque from 400 to 350 Newton meters. So, in the back of my mind, there is, unless they swapped the map of the engine when they swapped the gearbox, there is not a possible chance that I'm short of 50 Newton meters of torque. First world problems and all.
To be honest, I am actually really looking forward to this, and there's still plenty to document before we even leave. In theory, Marco, who runs all the Rust to Rome adventures, he's sending out a sticker pack with our number on it, whatever that number will be. But quite interestingly, he's also sending off a CB radio, which I've never used before, never have, let alone installed. So that should be a laugh. And then I'm also going to be commissioning a gratitude window sticker, which I'm going to stick on the rear right window on the back there. But why am I getting a gratitude sticker made? In late October, my heart started showing signs of irregular fibrillation, and I was later diagnosed with atrial premature beat. While it has calmed down significantly from the first incident, it is still really uncomfortable and also very unnerving knowing that my heart is not operating properly. The only good news is that apparently there isn't any significant threat to my life expectancy. Unfortunately, there are hundreds of thousands of people who aren't as lucky, either through genetics, healthcare, lifestyle, or even just an unlucky roll of the dice. There are still plenty of people left with life-changing or even life-threatening heart conditions, and some might not know about it until it's too late. That is why I am supporting the British Heart Foundation. The BHF has helped halve the number of deaths in the UK from heart and circulatory diseases. However, hundreds of people are still losing their lives every day. It is only thanks to support from people like us that they can research new treatments, discover new cures, and identify potentially lethal conditions before they pose a risk to anyone. If you do want to donate, go to the Just Giving page, link in the description, and give as much or as little as you want. And if you're a UK citizen, you can also apply Gift Aid, which adds an extra 25% onto your donation without costing you a penny. If you do decide to donate and provide a name with the donation, then you will be added to the gratitude decal, and so you can join me on my journey. And if you wish to remain anonymous, then I will still acknowledge your generosity.
Thank you very much for watching. If you have found this somewhat interesting, then please do give us that like rating and consider subscribing to the channel so that you can follow the adventure and keep up with my journey. And that way you'll also get notified of if or when I upload. And with that, until next time.